Morning, Knights. Today is Tuesday, April 14th. I want to go over some housekeeping before we get started on our new lesson for today. Yesterday, you were supposed to read for 20 minutes out of a book of your choice and then put that on your reading log, and that was from our matrix that we looked at yesterday. And then you were supposed to make a tally chart using the number of letters of the people who are in your family. Now, I didn't tell you this. You don't have to do this. But when you're done with your math or your reading lesson, if you would like to share with me what you did, that is perfectly okay. And I would love to see what you did. So if you want to take a picture of it and then record what you did and send it off through Seesaw, you are more than welcome to do that. I love seeing what you did and hear about what you were thinking when you did it. Anything on Seesaw is not a must-do, but if you want to do it, please go ahead and send it to me. I would love to see it. All right, so I just wanted to make sure that you know you can do that and then I can see your work. Let's take a look at our matrix for today. So our matrix for Tuesday, April 14th for reading says, watch my video on YouTube to hear the beginning of an exciting read aloud. And I'm going to show you the picture of our read aloud. It is The Magic Schoolhouse, Dinosaurs Before Dark. Now, remember I told you we were going to read Lions at lunchtime later on next week? Well, this is the very first book by Mary Pope Osborne, and it kind of sets the stage for what her books are like. And if you've never read a Magic Tree House book before, we wanted you to get it from the beginning, to see how all of these different Magic Tree House adventures started. So this is the fascinating book we're going to read in just a minute. We're going to read it together. Before we do that, though, I would like you to take a look at lesson 2 in math. If you have not brought your math paper, feel free to go and get it now. You can just stop the video, run and get it, and then bring it back, and don't forget to have a pencil. I'm going to go through the lesson plan for today. Do guided practice number 1 on page 536 of your math packet. Tell a family member your answer to the talk math question. So we're going to do the math in my world together. We're going to do this one together, and then we're going to do the guided practice together. And then down here is the talk math question. This is the question you're going to do with your family. All right, so if we are ready to go, I am anxious to start our new book, Dinosaurs Before Dark. What do you think this book's going to be about? Yeah, I bet it's about dinosaurs. This is Jack and this is Annie, and they are brother and sister. And they find a really cool tree house one day in the woods. And these are their adventures that they take in the tree house. They go to all different places. Let's take a look at the back blurb here. It says, where did the tree house come from? Before Jack and Annie can find out, the mysterious tree house whisks them back to the prehistoric past. Now they have to figure out how to get home. Can they do it before dark, or will they become a dinosaur's dinner? Ooh, sounds intriguing, and I can't wait to start reading it. So, let's go ahead and start. Okay, we're going to begin Dinosaurs Before Dark by Mary Pope Osborne. The table of contents. Today we're going to read the first 3 chapters, Into the Woods, The Monster, Where is Here? Dinosaurs Before Dark. So if you are able to, I would like you to follow along reading with me. Or if you would just like to use your tracking finger, and you can follow along with the words as I'm reading them aloud. Chapter 1, Into the Woods. "Help! A monster!" said Annie. "Yeah, sure," said Jack. "A real monster in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania." "Run, Jack!" said Annie. She ran up the road. Oh, brother. This is what he got for spending time with his 7-year-old sister. Annie loved pretend stuff, but Jack was 8.5. He liked real things. "Watch out, Jack! The monster's coming! Race you!" "No thanks," said Jack. Annie raced alone into the woods. Jack looked at the sky. The sun was about to set. "Come on, Annie, it's time to go home." But Annie had disappeared. Jack waited. No Annie. "Annie!" he shouted again. "Jack! Jack! Come here!" Jack groaned. "This better be good," he said. Jack left the road and headed into the woods. The trees were lit with a golden late afternoon light. "Come here!" called Annie. There she was, standing under a tall oak tree. "Look," she said. She was pointing at a rope ladder. The longest rope ladder Jack had ever seen. "Wow," he whispered. The ladder went all the way up to the top of the tree. There, at the top, was a tree house. It was tucked between 2 branches. "That must be the highest tree house in the world," said Annie. "Who built it?" asked Jack. "I've never seen it before." "I don't know, but I'm going up," said Annie. "No, we don't know who it belongs to," said Jack. "Just for a teeny minute," said Annie. She started up the ladder. "Annie, come back!" She kept climbing. Jack sighed. "Annie, it's almost dark. We have to go home." Annie disappeared inside the treehouse. "Annie!" Jack waited a moment. He was about to call again when Annie poked her head out of the treehouse window. "Books!" she shouted. "What?" "It's filled with books." Oh man, Jack loved books. He pushed his glasses into place. He gripped the sides of the rope ladder and up he went. Chapter 2, The Monster. Jack crawled through a hole in the treehouse floor. Wow, the treehouse was filled with books. Books everywhere. Very old books with dusty covers. New books with shiny bright covers. "Look! You can see far, far away," said Annie. She was peering out the treehouse window. Jack looked out the window with her. Down below were the tops of the other trees. In the distance, he saw the Frog Creek Library, the elementary school, the park. Annie pointed in the other direction. "There's our house," she said. Sure enough, there was their white wooden house with the green porch. Next door was their neighbor's black dog. Henry, he looked very tiny. "Hi, Henry," shouted Annie. "Shh," said Jack. "We're not supposed to be up here." He glanced around the tree house again. "I wonder who owns all these books," he said. He noticed bookmarks were sticking out of many of them. I like this one, said Annie. She held up a book with a castle on the cover. Here's a book about Pennsylvania, said Jack. He turned to the page with the bookmark. Hey, there's a picture of Frog Creek in here, said Jack. It's a picture of these woods. Oh, here's a book for you, said Annie. She held up a book about dinosaurs. A blue silk bookmark was sticking out of it. Let me see it. Jack set down his backpack and grabbed the book from her. You look at that one, and I'll look at the one about castles, said Annie. No, we better not, said Jack. We don't know who these books belong to. But even as he said this, Jack opened the dinosaur book to where the bookmark was. He couldn't help himself. He turned to a picture of an ancient flying reptile, a pteranodon. He touched the huge bat-like wings. Wow, whispered Jack. I wish I could see a pteranodon for real. Jack studied the picture of the odd-looking creature soaring through the sky. Ah, screamed Annie. What? Said Jack. A monster! Annie cried. She pointed to the treehouse window. Stop pretending, Annie, said Jack. No, really, said Annie. Jack looked out the window. A giant creature was gliding above the treetops. He had a long, weird crest on the back of his head, a skinny beak, and huge bat-like wings. It was a real live pteranodon. The creature curved through the sky. He was coming straight toward the treehouse. He looked like a glider plane. The wind began to blow. The leaves trembled. Suddenly, the creature soared up high into the sky. Jack nearly fell out of the window trying to see it. The wind picked up. It was whistling now. The treehouse started to spin. What's happening? Cried Jack. Get down! Shouted Annie. She pulled him back from the window. The treehouse was spinning, faster and faster. Jack squeezed his eyes shut. He held on to Annie. Then everything was still, absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. Sunlight slanted through the window. There was Annie, the books, his backpack. The treehouse was still high up in an oak tree, but it wasn't the same oak tree. Chapter 3. Where is here? Jack looked out the window. He looked down at the picture in the book. He looked back out the window. The world outside and the world in the picture, they were exactly the same. The pteranodon was soaring through the sky. The ground was covered with ferns and tall grass. There was a winding stream, a sloping hill, and volcanoes in the distance. Where are we? Stammered Jack. The pteranodon glided down to the base of their tree. The creature coasted to a stop and stood very still. What happened to us? Said Annie. She looked at Jack. He looked at her. I don't know, said Jack. I was looking at the picture in the book. And you said, wow, I wish I could see a pteranodon for real, said Annie. Yeah, and then we saw one in the Frog Creek woods, said Jack. Yeah, and then the wind got loud and the treehouse started spinning, said Annie. And we landed here, said Jack. "And we landed here," said Annie. "So that means," said Jack. "So that means—" "What?" said Annie. "Nothing," said Jack. He shook his head. "None of this can be real." Annie looked out the window again. "But he's real," she said. "He's very real." Jack looked out the window with her. The pteranodon was standing at the base of the oak tree, like a guard. His giant wings were spread out on either side of him. "Hi!" Annie shouted. "Shh!" said Jack. "We're not supposed to be here." "But where is here?" said Annie. "I don't know," said Jack. "Hi!" Annie called again to the creature. The pteranodon looked up at them. "Where is here?" Annie called down. "You're nuts. He can't talk," said Jack. "But maybe the book can tell us." Jack looked down at the book. He read the words under the picture. "This flying reptile lived in the Cretaceous period. It vanished 65 million years ago." No, impossible. They couldn't have landed in the time 65 million years ago. "Jack," said Annie, "he's nice." "Nice? Yeah, I can tell. Let's go down and talk to him." "Talk to him?" Annie started down the rope ladder. "Hey!" shouted Jack, but Annie kept going. "Are you crazy?" Jack called. Annie dropped to the ground. She stepped boldly up to the ancient creature. And that's where we will have to stop. So on your matrix, it asks you to make a prediction in your mind of what you think will happen next. So they've just landed 65 million years ago where the dinosaurs are. Make a prediction about what you think will happen next. And just keep it with you in your mind, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay, now it's time for our math lesson. And on the matrix, it told us to get our paper, page 535. And we are going to do math in my world, and then we're going to turn it over and we're going to do number 1 on page 536. So for my camera, my paper doesn't fit in there, so I have to fold it over. So I'm going to take my 535 and I'm going to fold it in half so that we can see what's going on here. Alrighty, so math in my world, I'm going to read the teacher directions down here at the bottom. It says, ask 5 classmates to pick their favorite lunch food. Draw a picture in the chart to show each person's choice. Now this is going to be a picture graph. And in a picture graph, we draw a picture to represent one vote for the food that they like the best. So for the sandwich, I thought we would make a square, since a sandwich is kind of a square. For the pizza, I thought we could make a triangle. Pizza's triangular shape. For a hot dog, I thought we could make a rectangle, because hot dogs are long. And for the bowl of soup, I just thought we would make a circle. So we want to keep our drawings kind of simple, because we don't want to spend all day drawing our drawings. We want to get to our math. So it says ask 5 classmates. That's kind of hard to do when we're doing distance learning. So I have already chosen 10. We're going to make it 10 classmates. I've already chosen 10 classmates that they're going to tell me what their favorite food is to eat, either a sandwich, pizza, hot dog, or soup. And I know we did this on one of those last days of school, but not everybody was here. So some of you have not done this and some of you have done this. I don't remember your answers, so I just kind of made them up. All right, so our first friend is Brooke, and you're going to do this with me, so make sure you have your pencil ready. I'm using a marker so you guys can see it better. Brooke likes hot dogs. So if we were making a tally chart, we would put a tally beside the hot dog, but we're not making a tally chart this time. This time we're making a picture graph. So the hot dog is the rectangle. So I'm going to put one rectangle in this box because that's what Brooke chose. I would like you to put the hot dog symbol in your box too, next to the hot dog. I asked Urel, and Urel said sandwich. So we're going to go up here to sandwich, and we're going to make a square in the box to show that Urel picked the sandwich as her favorite lunch food. Nevaeh picked pizza. So go to the pizza, and we're going to make a triangle to show that Nevaeh chose pizza. And then we have Caleb. Caleb also chose pizza. So let's make another triangle over here for Caleb's choice of pizza. Willow chose soup. So we're going to go down here to the soup, and we're going to make our bowl of soup here for Willow. Next we have David. David has chosen pizza. So we're going to put another triangle up here in the pizza row. And then we have Carter. Carter chose a hot dog. So we're going to make another rectangle here for Carter's choice for the hot dog. Alan chose a sandwich. So find sandwich and make our square to show the sandwich. Next we have Liam. Liam chose a hot dog. So the hot dog is the rectangle for the hot dog. And our last friend was Joshua, and Joshua chose pizza. So we're going to make another triangle over here in the pizza row. Now down here is our key. Each picture of the food stands for one vote or equals one vote. So let's take a look at our chart. How many people picked sandwiches? Let's count. 1, 2. So 2 people liked sandwiches the most for lunch. How many people picked pizza? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people liked pizza. How many people liked hot dogs? Let's count the pictures. 1, 2, 3. 3 people liked hot dogs the best. And how many people liked soup? 1. 1 person liked soup the best. So yesterday when we were writing with our names, we were using tally marks, and then we were counting the tally marks to get our answer. Today, we're counting the pictures. So, which one do you think is easiest? Do you think counting the pictures is easier or counting the tallies? It's up to you. It's kind of your own personal opinion there. I kind of think counting the pictures are pretty easy because each picture stands for one vote. But yeah. All right. So are you with me? Good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our paper over. So turn your paper over to 536. And we're going to look at the top of our guided practice up here. Guided practice. Over here is a helpful hint. Let's read that. It says the key, this is your key down here. Your key tells how many each symbol stands for. So each one of these circle symbols stands for a marble, and each one of these circle marbles equals one vote. You show data with a picture graph. The pictures are a symbol for the data. Now, we're talking about favorite marble color. Marbles are round, so they've chosen just to make a circle. We have blue marbles and red marbles. So how many people liked blue marbles? Let's connect the dots here and let's make our symbols. So we have 1, 2, 3. 3 people liked blue marbles the best. Let's make our symbols for red marbles. Let's trace over the circles. 1, 2, 3. 3 people liked red marbles the best. So if we were going to analyze this data, we could say that there was a tie between the favorite marble colors between blue and red. All right. Now we're going to go down here to the bottom of our page. They have given us a tally graph up here, a tally chart, and we're going to turn the information from our tally chart into a picture graph. Oh, I guess using my marker probably wasn't a very good idea here because it's seeping through. All right, next time I'll use a pen. All right, well, let's take a look at our tally graph up here. Let's look at the title, Favorite Shoes. We have tennis shoes, flip-flops, and boots. So let's look at the tally marks. How many people liked tennis shoes? We have 1, 2, 3. 3 people liked shoes the best, tennis shoes the best. Then we had flip-flops. When we have the tallies with a line through it, we know that equals 5 tallies. So 5 people liked flip-flops the best. And then we have our boots. We have 1 tally mark. So that tells us that 1 person liked boots the best. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take the information from this chart and we're going to show it on the picture graph. So we need to think of a picture we can use for tennis shoes. We could draw tennis shoes with the laces. We could do it that way. Now, you don't always have to draw the picture either. You could just use circles if you wanted to use circles. But for now, since we're just beginning, we'll do the tennis shoes. Let's just do something like this with a bow and a bow. So that'll be our tennis shoe. How many people liked tennis shoes? Look up here. 3. Yep. So we're going to make 3 tennis shoes. 1, 2, 3. And you can make your tennis shoe look however you want to make it, however you think a tennis shoe should look. Okay, now they want us to draw the symbols for flip-flops. Alrighty, well, a flip-flop kind of looks like this with a line going here and a line going there. Alrighty, how many flip-flops are we going to make? Let's look up here at our tallies. We had 5. 5 people liked flip-flops the best. So we're going to draw 5 flip-flops. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does your chart look like mine? Do you have 3 tennis shoes? Do you have 5 flip-flops? Okay, let's do the boots. How many tally marks did we have for boots? 1. 1 person liked boots the best. And the boot, we can just make it look like a boot like that. We only have to draw 1 of those. Alrighty, look at our key. Each shoe equals 1 vote. So let's see, we had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people vote Do we have 9 shoes on our picture graph? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We do. So we've got them all shown on our graph. Now, our matrix told us to tell a family member about the talk math. Here is our talk math down here. Talk math is when we used to turn and talk to a neighbor and answer the question that the paper wanted us to answer. Because you're by yourself, we're going to have you talk with your family. So it says, how are picture graphs different from tally charts? So I want you to think about how they are different. In some ways, they're the same, but in another way, they are different. So talk with your family and discuss how picture graphs and tally charts are different. And we'll talk about that answer tomorrow during our morning message. That's all I have for today for our math lesson. You did a great job. I will see you tomorrow on our video. Bye now.